Hey, what's going on? I'm getting ready to go live on IG right now, actually. So, title, want to just put it out there for anybody that has been following me, following along. I try to go live and get everybody on here. If you're just hopping on and you've been following me, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, turn on those notifications. I'm going to be doing this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I do like getting on here and sharing with people. My story is a crazy story, not a bad story, but crazy. Hey, IG, what's going on? I'm on YouTube Live right now. Sorry, working on getting you guys set up so I can look at everybody and talk to everybody without looking in one direction and not the other direction. I'm really bad at that because I try to pay attention to both screens, especially with the chats. Anybody that's on IG, you can always follow me live on YouTube. Please do go to my YouTube channel. I'll drop it in the description after this. Like, subscribe, follow, turn on those notifications. Working on building my YouTube channel for sure, guys. So today, as you see, the title of it is, Planet Not Buried. I know a lot of us, when we're going through the storm, we feel like we are, buried. The storm's going to last for forever. We know it's not, but we definitely feel like our storms last for forever. And they don't. But I know a lot of us put our dreams on hold or stop our dreams when we're going through storms. And I have a lot of amazing friends that I met through this process and journey that have taught me, like when you're going through the storm, buckle down and keep going. You gotta go out and, like fix the roof of your house during a rainstorm. You can put a bucket under the hole and, minimize the damages inside, but you can't fix it during the storm. You just have to weather the storm. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. There's always going to be trials, there's always going to be tribulations, and so many of us don't talk about our trials and tribulations, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, we all go through it, but we're all taught that it's positivity. It is, smile, we manifest, we don't talk on certain stuff. But guys, we're gonna ups, downs, pullbacks, things like that. And as entrepreneurs, as friends, as family, we need to support each other, not just through the good times, through those pullbacks. Even if it's just a shoulder to rest your head on, an ear to listen. We were given two of them. We need to start learning how to use them and listen, just to listen, not to respond. And for a long time, I listened to respond or just listened. And I didn't really know how to help people through things. And my goal now is to be there to truly help people through these kind of things, because a lot of us just don't want to talk about it. And it hurts. And I'm not saying you have to talk about it as you go through it. I'm not saying, you have to be perfect. I'm not saying, always talk about it when you go through it. Sometimes you can't because you're still processing. It's fresh. It's a wound. And we need to let it heal a little bit and see what kind of lessons we're really learning from that wound. That's the hardest part sometimes, when we get hurt. So many people want to react and hurt other people back, or, use the scapegoat effect when something doesn't work, like it didn't work because of X, Y, and Z, or this happened because of X, Y, and Z. And I've done so much self-reflection in the past 3 years. It's crazy. I've only been on this journey 3 years. Oh my God. Some years it feels like my life. I don't want to say my life just fell apart 3 years ago. That was when my husband actually killed himself. But, from the time my dad died when I was 19 to now I'm 37. So that's been like 18 years of storm after storm after storm. And it's crazy because I always felt like back in the day when my mindset wasn't right, I used to be like, man, why do I keep hitting rock bottom, or why does it keep getting worse? And I was that person that used to say things like, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck. And that's so not true. Every time something happened, I learned a lesson and I leveled up. And the next lesson, yeah, maybe it was a little bit bigger, but I was able to endure it because of the lesson before. And I leveled up again. Every time something's gone on in my life where I thought the bottom fell out, I was actually getting taught something to go to the next level. It almost reminds me of, like, God, I hate to compare life to Mario Brothers or, like a video game, but like every time you get something bigger and better. Like you're going to meet new demons, you're going to meet new bosses, that you're going to have to defeat if you want to get to that next level. There's always going to be a trial and tribulation. And we learn stuff, hopefully, to teach other people about it and to share it. Because I feel like everything we go through, somebody can benefit from it. And I'm not saying you don't have to make your own mistakes and learn your own lessons, because God, some days I really wish I would have listened to what my parents had said, because they taught me a lot of good things, and they taught me stuff, and they said, I hope you don't learn, have to make the same mistakes we did. You learn from my mistakes. God, I was a stubborn-headed. I'm Irish and Polish, for anybody that doesn't know it. I had made a lot of my own mistakes. And it's not even mistakes, they're lessons. God, they're not mistakes, because I wouldn't trade any of them, honestly, because I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through what I went through, if I didn't stumble and take certain paths. I wouldn't be sitting here. I've made such amazing friends and acquaintances, and so many good things have come from my journey. A lot of it hurt, but there's always, in growth, there's pain. And it's crazy because when you look at a butterfly, we all see this beautiful butterfly, and all we see is this beautiful butterfly. And I'm in Texas, so we get the monarchs that travel through all the time. So it's like butterfly season now. It's almost the end of it, but they're migrating, and we just see that butterfly, but we don't think about the caterpillar it was, and we don't think about it making a cocoon and the transformation. I couldn't even imagine the pain a butterfly endures to go from a silly looking caterpillar to this beautiful butterfly. And like the thing is, they say like a butterfly and a moth both go through the same transformation, and one lives during the day and in the light, and the other one lives at night and like is attracted to the flame or bright lights and doesn't really have that much. I'm not saying that it doesn't have as beautiful of a life, but I love the butterfly's life a little bit more. It gets to live in the daylight and see all the pretty things. And I guess that's all on certain decisions. And I feel like I'm a butterfly. I feel like the decisions I'm making is putting me onto a better path and a level of servitude, and just it's going to lead me to different things. And the decisions we make in life, what are you going to be? Are you going to take those lessons and learn from them? Are you going to be able to share them with other people to help make their journey easier, better, more beautiful in life, make their path a little bit easier? Or are you going to, sit in that pain? Are you going to, just stay there? Because gosh, I could have easily, when everything fell apart, laid there and gave up. I could have quit. I could have been a victim. But I'll tell you, my main thing, my mantra for years, and still is I'm not going to survive through this. I am going to thrive through everything that life throws at me. Thrive. And I didn't realize how much responsibility came with saying something, because if you thrive through stuff, there's a lot of work that comes with success. To be successful, there is a lot of work. To survive something means you got through. Yeah, you're still alive. But to thrive through it, that means you take that bad experience or that experience and you make it something immaculate. You make it amazing. And I was like, how do I make all of these experiences and this trauma amazing besides a woe was me story? And I didn't want to bottle it up and not tell a soul about it, because I feel like that'd be a waste. I went through this for a reason. Still not exactly sure why I went through it. And every day is just a crazy journey. It really is. Every day I learn something new about myself. Every day I discover something I'm still working on. And I just want to be 1% better than I was yesterday. I don't care if it's mind, body, soul. Anybody that follows me, knows that I was in church when my husband actually killed himself. It was the first time I'd been in church in forever. And, I go to the CBC here in San Antonio. Shout out to them for anybody that watches this later. Amazing church. Pastor Ed definitely speaks to my soul. He always has. But during COVID and stuff like that, I sort of fell out of going to church. And this weekend, I said I had to go back. I had to pray on some stuff. The universe, God. And I've always believed in a higher power, God, whatever you would like to call it. But going back this weekend definitely was important. And I'm not going to fall off again. But there's sometimes like you don't realize you're doing stuff, or you're in a mood, or you're in a funk, and that's what you need. But I'm getting at is, guys, like your journey is your journey. Don't let anybody tell you you need to heal quicker, or you should get over something, or gosh, you should be through this already. Because when sound weird, but like when my husband first died, everybody looked at me and they didn't know nothing about the abuse I'd been through. They didn't know nothing about my trials, my tribulations. They would look at me and they'd be like, "You're young, you'll find love again, you'll get over it." And I was like, "What?" And I know it's because it was taboo. People didn't really know what to say to me. They didn't really know how to approach it. Death, being a widow, suicide, like crazy stuff like that. It's definitely a unique journey, but people would actually say shit like that to me. Like they've heard of, I'm getting better at cursing. Sorry, I got an East Coast mouth. I really do have an East Coast mouth, and I don't mean to curse. I don't do it to offend nobody, but it comes out. But people would just say a lot of things like, "God, it's been months. Aren't you over that?" God, like you should just get over that. One, he was a jerk, or two, you need to stop thinking about it. Two, you need to stop talking about it. Guys, if it's on your heart and soul, like talk to somebody. I'm that type of person. I need to talk things out. I feel like when I talk something out, I like get it off my chest and I release it. It's almost like a festering sore sometimes. Like if you keep something in, it's just gonna keep getting infected and come out at the wrong times or the wrong way. Don't ever feel bad about how you grieve, how you process things. It's your journey. It's your story. All I can say is do it on a healthy level. Don't numb it. Don't do and I don't want to say don't do drugs or like drink alcohol with it, because I would drink at night sometimes, and yeah, that's exactly it. Like it would just be, it was rough because I would drink sometimes, and that wasn't the way. I know now, like certain times when I can't drink, like if I'm in a mood or anything like that, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I still do my wine. I like my margaritas. I live in San Antonio, Taco Tuesday and a margarita. I love it. But there's certain days where I know I can't have a drink because it won't mix well with my emotions. Um, that took a lot for me to learn, because I didn't like to feel the pain. And like I'll tell you, healing, and I've spoken on this before, healing internally, emotionally is one of the hardest things I've ever done. It's so much easier to numb it, work it out, supplement it, drink your water. But guys, if you don't heal it, if you don't process those emotions, if you ignore them and just shove them down and shove them away, they don't go away. They're going to keep showing up until you process them. Yeah, it hurts because a lot of times those emotions, it's not because of this person or that person. A lot of times it has to do with us. Like, okay, why did this happen? Like, we have to self reflect. Like, why did I get hurt? Why did you know, why did I let this happen? And I'm not, trust me, not taking away from people that have things happen. It's not always our fault. But like, when I looked at me, like, I had to set boundaries, I had to set rules for myself, and I have to stick to my own rules. I don't like a behavior, I can say, okay, that person's not for me. But you have to communicate too. I used to have these stringent, really stringent boundaries, and they're not healthy either. I'd be like, they're doing this, I'm done with them, and I'm not talking to them no more. That's not healthy. That's not healthy at all. So I really had to, after coming out of a bad relationship for 7 years, learn communication. Because for 7 years, I sat there and didn't say anything. There you go. Congratulations. People on YouTube, I am watching my comments. Congratulations. But it's just one of those ones where, like, when you're healing stuff, it is so painful. I would rather go to the gym every day, all day, and like burn out my muscles. And like, if anybody ever saw me work out, like I work out pretty hard. So, I do no pain, no gain. But healing and growing mentally is a totally different type of pain. I don't know if you like to journal it out. I love to journal. I do like to talk it out. That's why I'm doing this. Like I said, I'm going to hopefully have a book out done by the end of 2023. There's a lot of things in my life that I have big goals and dreams I'm working on. So definitely stay tuned on that one, guys. I love doing stuff in the digital entrepreneurship. It's given me so much freedom. It's helped me heal, and it's helped me meet amazing people along this journey. But your journey is your journey. And like, when you start to realize other people's opinions don't matter, like, and if they're saying things that aren't kind to you, maybe they're not your people right at this moment. And I know it could be sometimes your family, your friends, your significant other, but there's seasons of separation. And I'm not saying you got to get rid of them for forever, but sometimes you just got to take a step back so you could make the best version of you. And that's one of the hardest things for me that I had to do, because God, I was a people pleaser, and that's how I got myself into bad situations. And I know that because I wanted to make everybody happy, and I wanted people to like me, and I wanted this and I wanted that. And it had nothing to really do with me. It was about their opinions and about them. And at the end of the day, I wasn't happy. And I didn't even realize that, because I thought getting that outside validation and that outside attention was what I needed. It left me so empty and with such a void. And like, all like people saw was the smiling face and the positivity, and I've always been like that. Doesn't mean people are happy though. And finally I'm walking into like who is really Jill. And that's why my YouTube channel is called Just Jill, because I finally am figuring out just what I want, just what I need. And it's crazy because yeah, we'll do and do and do and do for other people, but we hurt ourselves sometimes doing it. At the end of the day, when you people please, you want to make sure they're happy, but what you're doing, does that actually make you happy? When you ask for their opinion, why are you asking for their opinion? It's one thing for like an outfit, like, yo, girl, you think this outfit looks good? Or yo, does this look okay? Like, I don't want to go out looking like a fool, or be overdressed or underdressed. There's certain things, I get it. But like when it has to do with your relationship, it doesn't matter what they think. Are you happy? Are you respecting yourself? And if you have kids, like, would you let your daughter or son get treated like that? Would you want them to be treated like that? Or are they you treating the person the way you'd want like your kids to be treated and stuff like that? I look at that kind of stuff. I don't have children, but when I'm in a relationship, I'm like, man, if I I have a little sister, love her to death, and God, she's not little. Hopefully when she watches this, she'll be like, oh, she's getting older now. And I used to always call her my baby sister. She's like, I don't mind it now. She's like 27. But if I wouldn't want my sister to be treated like that, why am I letting some dude treat me like that? Or if I would give my friend the advice to get the fuck out of that relationship, then why am I sitting there? What does it bring in me? I don't want to find my other half. I want to find somebody to build an empire with. You shouldn't look for the outside for happiness. Happiness is found within. And so many of us look outward and we're like, oh, I want to find someone to make me happy. You got to make yourself happy first. If you're not happy with you, nobody's going to make you happy. Nobody. And God, that sounds so mean, but it means there's a part of you still that you need to grow, that you need to heal. Like, yeah, I want somebody to share love with, to share experiences with, but I don't want to ever have to need somebody. There's a difference between needing somebody in your life or wanting somebody in your life, and some people don't understand that. And I love Kevin Gates. Anybody that knows that I love Kevin Gates' quotes, his music. He's a little toxic, but he says shit that's just real, and it always just hits home with me so much. But he says it's one thing for me to say I need you in my life, and need isn't a good thing. That means we have to split bills, or we have to do this, and we stay together because there's a need for it. But when you want somebody in your life, it's because you're good on your own, and you want them there because they make, like, you laugh with them, you have good times with them, you have good experiences with them. But if they leave, you're still good, and if they stay, you're good too. And man, when I thought about that, I'm like, man, that's powerful, because that's true. For somebody to say they want me in their life, that's what I want. I don't want you to need me. I want you to want me in your life. And I don't want to need you either. I want it to be a complementary thing. It's like wearing cute colors together, like gray and green. It complements each other well. Each look good on their own, but together it's better. But you got to keep your focus on dreams, your goals. Don't get distracted. And I preach on stuff some days because I need to hear it. I need to feel it. I need to just talk on it. Why? Because it resonates with my soul. I'm not sure sometimes, in all honesty. And my good friend Robert and my good friend Alpha would always say that, like, when I speak on it, I speak on it. I know sometimes these are all over the place, but guys, keep going. When you first get out of either a bad relationship or a situationship, or I don't care if it's your parents or you're having a season of separation, but keep your head up. God, I know it's so hard to keep your head up some days. And I was talking to my good friend about it. Like, some days I'm tired of being strong. That makes sense. Strong's the only thing you know. And if you haven't seen me on TikTok, I'm on TikTok too. You guys can find me on TikTok. That's all in my link tree. But I made, some TikToks on it. Like, some people compliment my resiliency and my strength, but they don't realize that's the only choice I had. My urgency, and when strong is the only choice you have, some days it's hard. So if you have friends sometimes and you're like, wow, they're so strong, they're so this, they're so that, they're so happy, and check in on them. God, check in on them, because it's so hard to be that strong all the time. And so many people don't think when they see strong people, they don't need nothing. They're good. They got it. And they do. They got it. But you'd be shocked how many days people don't ask you if you're okay, or they just say, hey, how are you? And they don't mean it. I still remember back in probably like late 2019, maybe early 2020, before COVID, I had a good friend, and I always kept myself around people after Kyle died, like kept myself super busy just to avoid stuff. And I know it sounds horrible. It's really before I started my healing journey. It was getting stuff done and just staying busy. And I was always around people. So, when you're always around people, you think you're good. You think you're fine. My one good friend from Houston, his name's Andreas. Shout out to him. He was one of my mentors with trading in crypto from back in the day. And dude kept me on a pretty good path. Like, he really encouraged me when I needed it. And I didn't even know it. But I always give him a shout out for me still being here doing this project. I don't want to say project, but pursuing my dreams. But he called me one day and I was walking out to my car, and I still remember it because he was like, hey, how are you? And it broke me. And like, that's the craziest thing ever. And he was like, what? He's like, are you okay? And just to hear those words being said, so sincere to me, and to break me down like this, just like I am now, I was like, apparently not. And I'm not a girl to cry. So like, me being raw and vulnerable with you guys is totally a new realm for me. But I didn't even know what to say to him when he said that. I was like, apparently not. He's like, what? I said, yo, I got to call you back. I said, I got to call you back. And I was like, I hung up the phone and I was like, wow. I was like, I don't know the last time somebody had asked me before that how I was actually doing. So when he asked me that, it blew my mind, like absolutely blew my mind. Because people would say to me every day, like, hey, how are you? And, we go on autopilot. I'm good. I'm fine. Living the dream. Whatever. Because it's positivity. It's manifestation. It is all it is. You're speaking into reality. And I don't believe in faking it till you make it. You face it till you make it. Face it till you make it. There's a difference. I show up every day, no matter how hard it is. You show up, because you know what? That one day that you don't show up is the day you might have missed your breakthrough, or that person you were supposed to meet to help you with your next level, or you're supposed to help them with that next level. I show up every day. Consistency, dedication. It's not simple. It's not. But, as anybody that watches this later, you gotta show up every day. And if you got people in your life, check in on them every once in a while and actually ask them how they are. And I know a lot of them are going to say good, phenomenal, great. But it's going to sound weird, but is that the truth? When was the last time they gave you a real answer? Because I'll tell you, for 2 years, 3 years, God, the whole time I was married, I lived on autopilot. Because I couldn't tell anybody it was bad. I had to go home. I couldn't tell anybody what was really going on. Holy shit. Like, that wasn't a reality. Like, I didn't speak on that. Wasn't allowed to speak on that. And if I brought up things that bothered me, man, I was the problem. I was the trouble. You know? You just can't speak on certain stuff. You're not allowed to when you're in a bad relationship. So when people say, "How are you?" Great. How you doing? Phenomenal. So when your people or your friends say that, man, just ask them again. How are they doing? They good? They might not want to talk, but at least they know you care. And at least they know you are there for them. And they'll call you when they're ready to talk. Maybe. Or if you just check in on them, maybe that one day they will open up to you. But there's a big difference between your acquaintances, because I have tons of acquaintances, and people I actually trust to talk to. I keep my circle real small. Got a lot of good acquaintances, and I wouldn't trade them for the world, but I got a few close friends, a few close family. But check on your friends, because they may just need to know that you're there. And I'll tell you, I'm so thankful for the people that were there for me. And I always give a shout out to my people, Melinda and Randy. Like, they knew I had a bad marriage, but I never spoke on it, but they knew it wasn't right. And they always let me know if I needed something. They had my back. And they were going to be there for me. And the night I left, I'm thankful I left because I'm still here to tell this story. If I would have stayed, I don't know if I would have been. But I called and I said, "Hey, can I come to your house?" With open arms, and they knew shit wasn't good. They opened their door to me and said, "Sure." They took me in. If I didn't have them, I don't know where I'd be. I don't even know if I'd be here, honestly. So, I had that one person. And you don't know if you're that person's one person. Thank God I do my best to be here for people and share my story. And I don't care if it's just to teach other people that, like, women that are in bad relationships, God, I preach on this all the time, because when you're in a bad relationship, you don't know how to leave. And I didn't get in a bad relationship. I didn't know, like, when I got in a relationship, you didn't know it was going to be a bad relationship. You just get into a relationship. I remember seeing or hearing about abusive relationships and stuff like that. They teach on it and they preach on it all the time. I was like, man, how do these women not leave? I was always so independent. Like, I helped raise my sister after my dad died. I put myself through school, worked a good job. I helped my mom out. Like, I was independent. I was always the strong one. And then when I woke up and I realized I was in a bad relationship and I didn't know how to leave, I was like, how did I become that woman? I used to be that woman that was like, man, why don't they just leave? Just get out of there. Just go. And you wake up and you're that woman that don't know how to leave, that don't know how to go, that stopped speaking her mind, that just learned how to take it and put up with it because it was easier than arguing and fighting. And wow. All I can say is, if you have friends like that, it's going to sound crazy. Don't tell them what to do, or don't tell them they have to do X, Y, and Z, because that'll make them run. Made me run when my friends would say, "Jill, you got to do this." Be like, how? So I wouldn't want to call them then, because I felt like a failure because I couldn't do it or I didn't know how to do it. So I stopped talking to them altogether. Just tell them that you're there for them. Just be their friend. Even if they may shut you out a little bit, just send them a, like, "Hey, I'm here for you" text if you need to talk. They might talk, they might not. But when you do get out of those relationships and your whole world crashes down, you still have dreams. You're still there. Your planet, not buried. And yeah, it's really hard to thrive and not just survive. But I know you guys can do it. You got to put action into those dreams, though. And this is me. And after 3 years, like, I've put actions into a lot of my dreams. But now it's telling my story. It's my book. It's my hopefully speaking career sooner than later. It's my YouTube channel. And putting this action into it is probably one of the hardest things I've done, besides start the healing journey. And every day is part of the journey because every day you run into a new issue, a new problem, or something you're not sure about. And now that you're learning yourself, you have to learn your emotions. And we don't react, we respond. So it takes a minute. Like when I feel something and it's not like my normal stuff, I'm like, why did that bother me? Like, why did it upset me or make me feel sad or whatnot? I don't blame it on the other person. I blame it on me. I'm like, okay, let's take a look at it. And if it's always when I go around a certain person, maybe that person isn't meant to be in my life because they're bringing something out in me that I'm not a big fan of. Or, like, is it, I hate to say it, sometimes you learn behaviors when you're working on surviving. And don't blame yourself for learning those behaviors. But it's time now, once you're out of a bad situation, to really work on your new thriving behaviors. Survival behaviors aren't always the best. They're a little toxic sometimes, and I don't blame any of us for having them. That got us through what we needed. But personal development's amazing. If any of you get a chance or want a good book to read, The Four Agreements or The Fifth Agreement. The Fifth Agreement's one of my favorite. Four Agreements, of course, is amazing. Everybody talks about that one. But Don Miguel Ruiz is some of my personal development favorites. God, I have so many books that I could recommend to you guys. But that book just helped me with a lot, especially when it came to opinions of others and learning how to not let them bother me as much. Me just taking them into a perspective and letting it be. But guys, keep on your dreams. Like, you may be down, you may be in the storm, you may have just gotten buried, or planet not buried. Sorry, you may have just gotten there. But like every bit of work you do to make yourself a better person, from personal development to the gym to anything, it's worth it. Keep going. And if you miss one day and you have a bad day, it's okay. It's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. No. Just think, and I heard this a while back, if you plant a tomato plant, it takes like 2 weeks for it to get big, and then it takes like 8 weeks for it to produce fruit. But everybody's like, oh man, 8 weeks, that's a long time. At the first frost, the tomato plant dies, and you have to start all over again. Now, you plant like an apple tree. It takes, weeks for it to grow. It takes 5 to 7 years for it to produce fruit. But it will stand against frost, and it will keep growing and producing fruit every year. The difference is more of an instant gratification versus long-term gratification. And I do want to be like a fruit tree. So will it take us a little bit longer to get where we're going to produce that fruit to be sustainable? Yeah. But in the long run, it's so worth it. Every day isn't going to be perfect. Every day isn't going to be gorgeous. But I'll tell you, there's more gorgeous days as you go than there are bad. Don't forget, we need rain to make a beautiful green garden. It's just life. Two, you need to have the storms to teach us lessons so we can become better, more beautiful, more rounded people. Yeah. Is it fun all the time? Nope. But God, those bad times make you enjoy the good times so much more and really look back and be like, wow, look how far I came. I remember when I used to act like that, or when this bothered me, and dude, that don't even faze me now. Anyway, I know it's like about 35 minutes I've been on here. But guys, keep going on your journey. Like I said, I'm going to be on here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 3 p.m.-ish. I can't ever get on at like 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, I swear. 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please go to my YouTube channel. If you're on my YouTube, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Definitely working on growing this. I need to get my story out there. More people need to hear it. Go back, watch the old ones, because yeah, definitely going to help some people out. Anyway, I love you guys, and I hope that helps some of you. I'll see you guys on Friday. Have a good day. Guys, I will see you later this week. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe. Appreciate y'all. See you soon.